Storyboard, I'm Shabani Gharat. Home to renowned alco beverage brands such as Absolute Vodka, Jacob's Creek, Chivas Regal, Ballantine's, the Glenlivet, Pernod Ricard India has one of the most dynamic and premium portfolios in the industry, and it is planning to continue its premiumization drive. The company will also focus on innovation in the existing portfolio of brands, introduce premium global innovations to India, and drive consumer experiences. So what else is in store for 2023? How is the company leveraging industry trends, and how are they tapping into the fresh batch of young consumers entering the alcohol drinking age? We are getting these answers from Karthik Mohindra, Chief Marketing Officer, Pernod Ricard India.
Karthik, welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you, Shabani.
Karthik, first, tell me, how has the past year been like for Pernod, and going forward, what is the strategy that you're going to apply for the India market?
Ever since the pandemic ended, the business has bounced back phenomenally well. It's doing it's wonderful growth all around. We as a company are doing exceptionally well. So yeah, the year's been good. We're looking at closing on a high. And when it comes to the future, India remains one of the biggest and the fastest growing markets in the world for Group Pernod Ricard. We know the macroeconomic factors, the economy, the way it is, the younger audiences that we have. It's just going to make for long-term sustainable growth. So as an organization, we're betting big on India.
Oh, great. And since you mentioned, the younger generation, and India is a young country, there are many who are entering the legal drinking age. If you can share with us, what are their preferences and some of the trends that you have witnessed as a company?
Well, rightfully said, there are about 22 to 23 million young Indians who enter legal drinking age every year. And this number is likely to continue for at least the next 5 to 8 years. Right? I'd like to call this generation as being extremely confident. They are global citizens. Right? They don't feel by any way lesser than their counterparts across the world. It just becomes so smaller, and they also don't have any preconceived notions about anything. So they want to work hard. They also want to party hard. They want to enjoy, savor all the finer things in life. So as far as we are concerned, but also there's although 22 million. So there's also a very wide, let's say, range of preferences that would exist, right? They're experimentative. They don't want to be bogged down with one particular flavor or one particular way of consumption. And they very freely and very easily oscillate between categories and flavors, right? So today, if I was to look back to 15 years or 20 years, whiskey was the be-all and the end-all. But it's not true today. The younger consumers are equally comfortable having a whiskey or a white spirit. Gin is booming in the urban centers. You see tequila is on the rise. So it's a much wider palette. Makes life a lot difficult for us at times.
So consumers have a wider choice now. Their preferences are changing, which we have seen noticeably over the past couple of years. Then there are these spate of newer players who are entering the alcohol beverage market, and then there are these well-entrenched, established players already present in the India market. So how do you look at this whole environment and the whole dynamics?
Highly competitive, one must say, and you're absolutely correct. I think craft is in. Innovation is in, like I mentioned, and there are a lot of entrepreneurs out there who are really challenging the norm. And what that's doing is it's keeping a lot of the, let's say, entrenched or traditional players on the toes. So which is great. And if you really ask for my point of view, it's very important that entrenched players or market leading players like us are always on top of our game to be able to meet these competitor demands that are posed on our business. But equally, I think collectively, what we are doing is we're also changing the landscape of the business in India. Right? So the more the players that go after it, the better the output for the industry as a whole. So there are benefits in there as well. What doesn't really need to, because there's massive room for growth, right?
Also, Karthik, I have seen that Pernod has actively focused on premiumization of the company's portfolio. So how is this entire premiumization drive working for you?
Oh, working very well. One of the biggest current headwinds that the industry faces is severe inflation in COGS, right, which has to be offsetted. And we've been very actively driving premiumization, because that's really how our business is built. That's the bedrock of sustainable, profitable business. We've always followed that here in India. We do not, let's say, participate in categories which have a very low margin threshold. We've, since inception in India, we've not entered those categories. We prefer to play in the profitable, in the long-term potential categories. But even within the wide portfolio that we have, there is a conscious effort for the organizational energy and investments to go behind categories that allow for greater premiumization, for us to have greater value for the brands, but then also be able to give back to the consumer, to be able to experience or get a better output of what we have on offer. So if I take the last year as an example, our volume growths would have been high single digit, but our turnover is almost twice that, right? Which again indicates that not only are we focusing towards the top end, but also that's where the Indian market and the Indian consumers are going towards. It's about more self-fulfillment now, not simply what, let's say, the predecessors used to be about.
Yeah. Karthik, I must ask you as a marketer, for alcohol beverages, what is the biggest challenge that you're facing?
It's the input cost inflation, which has been quite challenging in the last 12 to 18 months and doesn't really seem to be abating in the near future. Right? So that will always remain, a big pressure on profitability. And like I said, as an organization being so focused towards the bottom line, what it means is that we have to find ways to make sure our profitability trajectory remains where it is. But also at the same time, so while premiumization is a reality, but when organizations or manufacturers have to pass on the input cost pressures to maintain thresholds of profitability, which Pernod Ricard is very, very conscious about, that sometimes coupled with taxation increases by states tends to take pricing beyond, let's say, what the consumer is sometimes comfortable of spending. So it's a bit of a mixed bag at times, but that's part of life.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Lance Bennett, the new VP of Sales and Marketing at Mercedes-Benz India, who's speaking to us about how Mercedes is shaping its marketing strategies for the future. Welcome back, and now we have a Storyboard 18 exclusive conversation with Lance Bennett, the new VP of Sales and Marketing at India's leading luxury car maker, Mercedes-Benz India. Listen in to find out how Mercedes is shaping its marketing strategies for the future.
We're joined in the studio today by Lance, who'll be talking about the brand's marketing strategies and where he sees consumers of luxury vehicles going. Hello and welcome to Storyboard 18, Lance. It's lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you.
I want to dive right in with asking you about what was top on your agenda when you joined, and what were your first impressions of the market, given that you've come from global markets? How did India look to you?
First of all, I'd like to congratulate the team for their performance in 2022. Obviously, we had significant growth, 41% year-on-year growth. So it was actually, India was actually the highest, had the highest growth out of all of the markets around the world. So I was really looking forward to coming here and joining the team. Certainly they were held up on a pedestal. In terms of what I've observed since I've got here, I think there's lots of opportunity in the marketplace. I've seen a lot of development, a lot of building around certainly where I live, and I can see that the economy is doing very well as well. In terms of my focus, so we've got a very busy year ahead. We have 10 new models which we're going to launch, 2 of which we've launched already. So earlier in the month we launched the GT63 SE performance vehicle, which is our first plug-in hybrid AMG product as well. Again, in that top-end vehicle segment, which is, as you mentioned, where we've had a lot of growth as well. For the rest of the year, we'll have another full electric vehicle, another AMG vehicle. Where I've come from, we have a really high AMG mix, and I'm hoping to bring that, what I've learned there. And in addition to, we also have sold a lot of EVs, and I'd like to bring the knowledge that I've developed from the other markets to this market as well.
We'll of course get to the sort of the EV bit a little later in the conversation, but tell me what sets apart your strategies, your sales and marketing strategies in the market right now from some of your competitors perhaps?
Our focus is on providing the best customer experience as well, a luxury experience. So we've actually redeveloped our dealer network into a modern retail architecture. It's a much more warm, friendly place for customers to come and spend time and engage with the products. We have a lot of digital elements so that the customers can engage with the products digitally. Obviously, we have a very big range of products and we can't display them all in the showroom. So using these digital tools allows customers to go on the journey and pick their best vehicle or their most favorite vehicle in a really comfortable luxury environment.
So customer expectations, of course, have dramatically changed over the past few years. How are you adapting to this sort of changing customer? Because, I mean, there is a certain level of consciousness that has sort of creeped into, the mindset. People are more careful about how they consume, what they consume, how much they consume, and especially the younger generations. So what are some of the key trends that you are responding to and some of the insights that are informing your sales and marketing strategies?
Yeah, sustainability is high on our agenda. We have a goal to be globally carbon neutral by 2039. A part of that journey will mean that we'll have a full electric range of products by 2030. So we'll be ready to go full electric where the markets allow. In this market, our goal is to have 25% of our vehicles electric in the next 4 years. We believe that there is no luxury without sustainability. So our customers expect that we are a sustainable company and that we will be look after, end to end, making sure that we're having the smallest footprint or carbon footprint that we produce when we produce vehicles as well.
What are some of the challenges when it comes to marketing an electric future to existing customers as well as potential customers?
I don't necessarily see it as challenges. It's more of an opportunity, but certainly it's about getting people to think and consider the vehicle. So that's why we're focusing on the electric range in our marketing and our brand marketing as well. Once customers come in and experience the product, they will see the benefits. Driving an electric car or being driven in an electric car, it's very relaxing. It's a great place to be, silent, and yet it has the performance of a high-end AMG vehicle. So, you get the best of both worlds. You get the performance and you also get the comfort and luxury and that silent driving as well. And you also feel good that you're somewhat looking after the environment as well.
And a slightly sort of personal question here. You, of course, you've had experience with Mercedes and you've been with Mercedes a very long time and you've worked in various global offices. Are there any sort of learnings that you are bringing from your previous experiences in the role you're now? Just a couple of things that you have in mind.
Yeah, sure. As I mentioned, we had a really strong growth of AMG in the market that I've come from. So, taking the learnings from that in terms of really, having the dedication to these top-end customers, hosting events for them. They really enjoyed track day. So we had a track day as well in February. So, providing those ability for the customer to come and experience the product, and it's in the environment that it was designed for on the track, and offering those unique experiences along with like we've actually, when we launched the GT63, we launched it with the first few people that end up getting a ticket to see Lewis Hamilton as well. So, having those kind of once in a lifetime special, you can't buy kind of special events so having those kind of things as well helps sell our top end products.
I'm glad you mentioned Lewis Hamilton, because I have to ask you this. What sort of impact has, the Netflix show Drive to Survive, what sort of impact has it had on the Mercedes brand?
I think it's allowed an insight into what goes on behind the scenes. I was always a fan of Formula One, but now I can talk to more people about Formula One, because I think that the viewing of that particular program is actually quite high, and people have really started to get into Formula One, and it'd be lovely if one day Formula One was in India again.
Well, it was lovely chatting with you, Lance. Thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
It is time for a short break. On the other side, we have Akshay Kumar, whom we are meeting on the sidelines of the flagship store launch of his athleisure brand Force 9, along with Manish Mandana, co-founder of Force 9's parent company 9am Ventures. Welcome back. Bollywood star Akshay Kumar recently partnered with Mandana Industries to launch an apparel brand Force 9 on 26th of January. Force 9, which was first made available on the e-commerce platform Myntra, now has its first exclusive store in Khar in the western suburbs of Mumbai. Kumar says that the plan is to open 9 exclusive stores by the end of 2023 across the country. I caught up with Akshay Kumar along with Manish Mandana, co-founder of Force 9's parent company 9am Ventures, and spoke to them about their plans for the brand, how involved Kumar is in the whole ideation process, and what does it feel like to launch his own clothing brand. On the sidelines of the flagship store launch of his athleisure brand, Force 9, I'm catching up with Akshay Kumar and Manish Mandana. Welcome to CNBC-TV18.
Thank you very much.
So it's been past few months since you launched Force 9. What have been the past few months been like for the brand?
Well, actually, we started on 26th of January when it
was Republic Day.
Yes, that was the time when we just wanted to do a soft launch, and slowly we want to proceed, because bachpan se ye seekha, slow and steady, aram se wins the race. Now I don't know about the winning the race, but for sure I want to go slowly. So this is going to be our first flagship store, and the whole idea is by the end of this year we should have about 9 to 10 more stores.
9 to 10 more stores.
Slowly.
In which cities?
Which
markets are you targeting?
The next one is going to be in Bangalore, then Delhi, and 2 more in Mumbai, and then Surat also. So these are the places which we are going to go.
Manish, my question to you is, you've set up a brand at a time when there are so many macroeconomic pressures. How is it impacting the margins? How are you pricing and costing the products?
I think, in my opinion, the best time to launch anything is during the low times, because any brand, when you start, you need a few seasons to get going and to set yourself right, your teams right, your product right. But I think Indian story is here to stay, and I think we are the fastest growing economy in the world, and we are the youngest population in the world. So I think it's absolutely the correct time post-COVID, when people have gone through corrections, for us to come out with something new and something for the Gen Z and for fashion for all, basically.
Okay, Gen Z, I'm going to put a pin on that. But Akshay, I have been reading up like a couple of conversations that you did around the soft launch, and you mentioned that you have waited for 7 years to launch your own clothing brand.
I actually was going to do it about 7 years back.
Yeah.
And when I saw all the product and all, I was not very happy. So I had so much of products with me, the clothes with me, I actually closed the whole thing. I said, nothing doing, I'm not happy with it, so I don't want to do it. Otherwise, I would have started long back. Then I met a man called Manish. Who's he? So he came, I spoke to him. What I liked about him is he's very hardworking. Whether the business works or doesn't work, that's up to God. But this man knows his job. Showed me how the whole thing is going to be, showed me his products, told me about things, what he wants to do, what he has planned. And here we are together.
What, according to you, sets Force 9 apart as compared to
Well,
the other athleisure brands in the market?
Whatever you see here is me. You know, athleisure, when people even didn't know about what was by athleisure, because all my life I've been wearing these kind of clothes. This is what you're seeing is me. Putting your one track pant up, having a sleeves going up like this, just being all my life I've been in athleisure. All my life. From the beginning, let me say, when I was 5 years old, from then till today, I've loved wearing all these kind of things. So if you see, every product here consists of something which I want and I have. It's actually, when I written the word engineered with emotion,
Yeah.
I've just not written it. I mean each and every word, engineered with emotion, that's how I want it to. Each and every cloth has a meaning to it. Like, now people will wonder, what is this? 20.5937 degree north, 78.9629 degrees. This is where India is situated.
Yeah.
So, and plus everything is about force. The army, the navy, the air force. My father was in army.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start something got to do with force. That's why we came up with the name Force 9.
Yeah.
And 9 is a number of a warrior. So that's how we came with that.
Yeah.
So you see anything here, even every cloth here, this is army.
What does it say? Oh,
Yeah, this is army, and this is navy and air force.
wow. That's very cool.
Yeah, so every cloth will have that. And everything, whatever you buy in this, 9 rupees will go straight to Bharat Ki Veer. So we have done all that. So it is not only we have inspired by the forces, we have inspired by the forces to even give back.
It seems that there's a lot of thought that has gone behind creating something like this. Manish, you know it, athleisure has really picked up since the pandemic. You know, work from home and hybrid working, and everyone, you know, want to be in casuals, you know, want to wear comfortable clothing, you know, while they're sitting in a cafe and working. So what is your strategy going forward in this space?
I think if you look at our line, athleisure is one big part of it, but we have clothing for everyone. Even if you want to dress up like in a semi-formal way, we have some cleaner products as well. Nowadays, the whole fashion is about oversized clothing, which keeps you comfortable. That is something which we are focusing on. Now, there's a new word called travel leisure, beyond athleisure, where people want to wear functional clothes for traveling, which are practical to use. So we are exploring every possibility that the new generation is looking for. And fashion is something which is ever evolving. So you've got to keep adapting to the changes and the needs. And also we go through various weathers. You know, there's monsoon, there's summer, there's winter. So you've got to construct and design your product suitable to that kind of atmosphere.
Akshay, over to you. We have seen your films and we love watching your cinema. And we've seen that, you know, you seem to really enjoy what you're doing. How much of entrepreneurial journey are you enjoying? What is the learning from there?
Well, I am not doing this as to do business.
Yeah.
I'm doing this because my emotions are involved with it. And I quite like this. This I wanted to do, as I told you, I wanted to do it long back. But I got this opportunity. I was not happy at that time. I got this opportunity. Each and everything, whatever I am doing with him and whatever the other things I'm going to be doing, I'm enjoying every bit of it. I'm involved in it day and night throughout.
And which is much different as being only like a ambassador for a brand where you are actually involved in the process. Do you have any stories or anecdotes
I'll tell you
that
something.
you want to share?
Even being an ambassador also, whenever I've been a brand ambassador to anything, I've always been involved with it. From the making of the ad, from doing what they want, from the screenplay, script, everything I've been involved with it. So it's just not just कि आए काम किया, पैसे लिए, घर चले गए. It's the involvement has to be there. I've done some mistakes also. I've done some wrong products also, but that's fine.
Yeah. Do you regret that?
Oh, well, it's a regret in the sense it was not supposed to be, but I realized that moment, instant moment only. And at night, I put it on my Twitter that I did the wrong thing. I'm sorry about it.
Over to you, Manish. We spoke about setting up physical stores. How much of the business in the coming days do you expect out of the physical store set up across the country, and what is your strategy for online?
So, as I said, we launched online first. We partnered with Myntra, which almost takes a 70% market share in the online fashion space. So they were the right partners to start with, and we started off with them. We are doing pretty well. We started with limited categories, and now the whole idea is that we are going to spread our wings across the country. We are going to tie up with all the top retailers, like all the large format stores which exist in this country, and we'll have our corners over there. And gradually and slowly, as he likes it, we will grow, step by step in various states, various tier 1, tier 2 cities. The target is to start with metros first, because that's where the aspiration of a brand goes down in the rest of the country. So yeah, first 2 years we are going to be very cautious. It's also a learning phase, even if you're doing the business forever, but you always have to test the market, test the response of the clients, and then obviously, then after that, there's no looking back.
Final question to you, Akshay. What are your big aspirations with this brand, Force 9, in the coming months, coming years?
Well, I want to take this brand to everyone, to all the people, because this is a brand which I would say limitless and ageless.
With that, it's a wrap on Storyboard this week. You can catch all of our content on Facebook, Twitter and YouTube. Thanks for watching. We will be back same time next week. See you soon.